Hello, everybody. This is Moriarty here. So I've been thinking about for the longest time. I've been putting off writing a certain idea I've been doing for a while, and it's basically centralized around Elysium here. I just running title will be called Elysium Tales. So in this video, we're just going to be doing a little research and giving you a little basic idea of how I intend to do things. But for now, we're going to do a little exercise. We're going to do a little plot mock-up of how this manga here could be formed into a full-on novel. Now, here you have the prologue. Here you would have the prologue, and clearly they have a bunch. You have a four act structure basically. You have the introduction of the main character, and you have their first companion. So here, and then you have the little prologue here, and then we'll see progressions about stuff and how everything has been done. But for now, I'm going to assume everyone has already read all this. As you can see, the whole idea is that it's set in a sort of digital world. It's like a sort of MMORPG. But the key thing to actually realize here is it signifies the decision made by humanity to abandon the material corporeal world. That implies to me something else. That implies to me that for like some people can interpret that as like escapism from the real world, because real life is misery. But if we're going to write a story about it, I'm thinking it's more like a decision, like instead of like a decision to escape like a calamity on the planet Earth, because as you can see from the symbology, it starts with Omega Alpha here looking on the Earth. So in terms of symbology, this could mean like something happened to the planet. Now, some fiction generally implies like a massive exodus into space, and you have a spacefaring colony establishing another planet. But in here, it implies something instead with a sort of, if people have played Fate CC, it basically implies like all of humanity basically became near extinct, and all of humanity's knowledge was recorded by an object in the moon, basically a massive computer database that recorded all of humanity's consciousness and history, called the moon cell. This could be what happens in this implies a similar kind of plot line. And I think that's way more interesting than just a generic, it's just a bunch of people who want to escape into like a giant massive MMO. But we'll get to that. For now, I want to look into this and really read how I would like pace or fill in the basic gaps in this story here. So let's have a look. So we have the prologue here. Let's have a look. Okay. Is there more pages? Let me just have a look. No, there's no. This is literally it. So you have Omega Alpha looking on the Earth. We'll just say some kind of disaster and everything. But basically, it's kind of implying thou seekest a new tale. Basically, escapism. You don't like what's happening right now, so you want to escape to somewhere else. So as you can see, so thou seekest a new tale. We'll get to that. Some kind of implying the power which generates this gun, which is Altair's gun, which turns into a bladed weapon with hard light technology. I'm not going to get into that one yet because we're trying to go to character motivations here and stuff like that. Well, I'll let Hololive handle the detailings of their tech, but we're trying to go for a basic plot structure here. So, thou seekest a new tale, basically a new form of simulation or escapism, further pursuit of world that is. I'm gonna fill in this word with utopian. Basically, a perfect life, perfect ideal life of escapism and fulfillment and contentment. And it would just says would only be in vain, because as we go back to here, as we go into the Regis Altair here, he makes it into this utopian world. Like, yeah, you can see. But where did I put that portrait? You know what? So there's this silence here. There's a photo. He's holding on to somebody, but it got redacted or censored. And he feels this sense of foreboding, I guess, as he tries to recall a memory he's forbidden from remembering. But we'll not wonder who that could be. I presume, but based on what little information we have, that could be Omega Alpha, who's no longer existing in the lore, it seems. Because I think the person who was meant to be Omega Alpha, the sort of A-chan of EN, quit the job. But I think that was the intention before. But as you can see, you make it to the new world, and it's not quite as ideal as you'd think. But at least that's the current implication. But his general call to action is like he's pursuing an ideal life. But okay. And then you go to Magni Desmond here. Now this implies like Magni Desmond has been following him for a while. So let's have a look at his dialogue here. So he's wandering the world looking for whatever he's going after. I'm guessing corruption beasts, because this might be after the record corruption. And uncover the secrets of the world. Man, not you again. So basically, this implies he's been being followed for a while. Now, something you need to think about is, why would Desmond be following this random adventurer around by himself? He either owes a debt to him, he either finds him useful because he's particularly powerful, or holds a sacred artifact of some kind, like that gun at the start. But I need to check. Right now, I think he just uses a normal sword, and he's just a normal adventurer. He doesn't currently have the hard light sword. So, okay, Rude, you should be more appreciative of me. A friend is a friend indeed, remember? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, that's fine. And don't ignore me. You're heading to the ruins up ahead, aren't you? I'm willing to help. Alchemists have a wonderful ability to grant people's wishes, after all. So basically, like a drug dealer, he comes up with solutions. Comes up with the solutions that Altair might need. Maybe, and also, let's be real here. Altair is not the academic type, so even if he goes into the ruins, he's not going to be able to understand what the hell's happening there. So someone like Magni might be useful. I mean, after all, every party needs a healer. And alchemists generally in MMORPGs are buffers and healers. But let's just think here. So basically, what this characterization is implying is sort of like the Starscream character. He stands to gain something from Altair, and by sticking close to Altair, probably, maybe, I don't know, a lot of money or riches. I'm thinking he probably saved his life, stopped him from getting in trouble with the police, maybe. Like, he saved him from the police, and as such, Magni can go through his abilities, and if he gets attacked by some kind of authority figure, Altair's there to save him, so long as he feigns ignorance and innocence of whatever crimes they charge him with. And maybe towards at some point, at a later date, he's actually innocent, but his crimes catch up to him. That seems to be the kind of arc he's gonna go through. Let's just ignore the fact that the talent who is Magni Desmond is no longer with us. But I'm trying to understand the logic that the original vision was supposed to be like. But there you go. This is how you create a characterization of your cast. So this is why Desmond would stay with someone like Altair, even though he seems to be perfectly capable by himself. And ostensibly, he doesn't really have an objective use for him. Like, I highly doubt like Altair would help him out with his crimes, with his dealing out copium, or it doesn't help him cook these illicit substances to anybody. But let's move on. So let's just establish they form a friendship over a course of time, and he forms distrust with Altair after helping him out on his little adventures, and maybe he gets convinced to join the cause, seeing past the point of Altair's usefulness. But at this point, this implies to me they get a personal invitation from the famed ringmaster of the Colosseum. Now, the thing about this is, okay, Axel is a ringmaster of a major organization, of a major Colosseum, implying he's freaking rich. So it's not only is he probably the champion of the establishment, he probably earns all kinds of money from commission from this organization. So what happens when he leaves? So I think the motivation here is Axel starts hearing about the fame of the Tempest Guild, of the two people so far. They've saved a lot of people from corruption beasts. They've helped with generic quests, and they've been dealing with criminal activities and, I don't know, beating up common thugs and bandits. So they gained a lot of renown. Now, for someone like Axel to invite them to a direct meeting within the Colosseum, that means he stands to gain a lot of renown to stage them into a battle as a major event where everyone would want to watch Axel versus Tempus. And he stands to gain a whole lot of money by promoting this kind of event and gaining a lot of eyes on his Colosseum and visitors. And as such, he gives this direct invitation because he stands to gain from it. But why would he join the party? That's the question. So let's keep reading. You sent us, didn't you? Such an honor receiving a direct invitation from the famed ringmaster of the Colosseum. It's you guys, so I hear you're looking for strong companion. Right. And they wouldn't really visit this place. Like, Altair would not really be interested in such an event to promote himself because he doesn't really care about the fame, because he's sort of presented as the classic paragon character. He does good for the sake of goodness and generally doesn't ask for any rewards for it. As such, his guild would not really be successful with him because he has no real source of income. But you have an alchemist here who has illicit dealings and probably makes money on the side. And now you have a very rich gladiator. Probably, presumably his backstory is he was a normal gladiator who made a lot of money there. And eventually he got to such an extent of prestige within the organization that he just took over the whole thing. and as such, he earns bank from the Colosseum. So when he leaves to join this party, his passive income from the Colosseum probably funds Altair's guild. So let's all keep that in our heads. But yeah, so we've kind of made sense of the motivations here. Axel stands to gain a lot of renown and fame and money from inviting him to this event by luring the party with the gambit or the deal that he will join the party. But I think he might have probably wanted to join anyway because he's kind of bored of the Colosseum life. Like, being on top all the time is kind of boring. So going to death-defying danger against the corruption beasts might motivate Axel to live a more exciting lifestyle as an adventurer. And as you can see, the battle is just demonstrates that he's really strong. Well, yeah, but bleh. Then fight me. So, as generic JRPGs go, it's if you beat the boss, he joins your party, kind of dealio. Because after all, a gladiator only respects strength, and clearly, he's gotten to the top of this organization by winning a lot, to such a point that any competition of his assertion of being the leader of the Colosseum would be squashed quite quickly because he has the strength to beat up any kind of opposition. Thing is, though, what happens when he leaves? Who keeps up his organization once he leaves? So I think when I'm making a novel here, if I make a novel about Tempus HQ, you're gonna need a little sidekick, some kind of character. I think he has a mascot character as well. I need to remember that. I need to check up. But yeah. So yep, so let's say he joins the party. The Colosseum is handed down leadership to someone else, and that happens. And let's just move on to the next character. So I think this is the part that's the most interesting. So, how do you not understand that what you're doing is pure hypocrisy? So, we're thinking about this. As a scholar, he could just be referencing might makes right. As in, like, he could be, like, because, like, if you go back to Magni here, he took down a bunch of authority figures because of Magni's crimes, and Altair protected him, hence protecting him from punishment for his crimes. As such, how do you not understand that what you're doing is pure hypocrisy? How many times do I have to spell it out for you? But Altair doesn't really get that Magni has done things, or he kind of sticks to a kind of paragon principle where no matter what wrong Magni does, he still has the obligation to help out a comrade in need. Magni might have done some wrong, but he's a good guy now, so Altair will always stand by his friend and help him out. And basically he takes on the responsibility of Magni's atonement for his crimes by making him do good from then on. And I guess, and from that point of view, Vesper might simply disagree. But this is in reference to what, like I say, he says, I'm not who I was back then. But this is in reference to what Altair did. So maybe Vesper tried to, maybe one of Vesper was one of the enforcers that was trying to get Magni, but Altair stopped him. But the thing is really weird is, I thought I'd get a good old fashioned brawl. What is this pansy crap? I certainly enjoyed it though. What? Forget it. Let's grab some grub. Very well, I recognize your skills and your determination, but you know you are nothing by yourself. Okay, so nothing by yourself. I think I can make this work. Let me just make some sense out of this. So if we're going by the same logic as before, so he wasn't who he was back then. What about what happened between these two? Maybe they got in a desperate situation. Maybe they tried to steal something or do some kind of illicit activity. Because, at the very start, you're basically very poor. And as such, when you're very poor, you have to do some things to make quick money. And then you have to justify it. So maybe, Altair knowingly allowed Magni to go into illicit dealings to make some quick money, and he knowingly allowed that. And when Vesper came in to stop them because of his sense of justice or maintaining the order, both Altair and Magni stopped them. But now that they're out of that bad situation, they're on the straight and narrow, and are just trying to live a proper life. But then this is, well, very well. I recognize your skills and your determination. This is such a Japaneseism. So it's basically what it goes back to what Axel wants, because he respects only strength. So what am I gonna say? I'm saying maybe he won't fall back. So Altair and Magni will never fall back to the dark path, because they now have the skills and determination to stick to the good path. They will never stray ever again. But you are nothing by yourself. And and Altair from the very beginning had lofty goals of establishing an adventurers guild to get rid of the corruption beasts. As such, he just basically reminds him, keep everyone in the guild in the straight and narrow, because he can't achieve any of his dreams. He cannot achieve any of his goals and dreams by himself. Because if I know this is so weird when Vesper and Magni are gone, but basically I want to imply the idea that if all of their atonement, all of their ideals, all of their means to keep going, all their desires to create a better world within this quote unquote utopia, it's impossible if the guild ever splits up. As such, Vesper is joining to keep an eye on them, to keep everyone in the straight and narrow, and to keep the group together, to make sure or witness that the guild stays together so that everyone can reach their goals. And in the meantime, he also maintains that he's keeping an eye that they are properly atoning for their crimes by undoing all the possible bad they might have done. That's one route. That's one possible way to go about this. But I can see someone like criticizing that as a bit contrived. But I'm working with dialogue that I'm not written here. I have to finesse it. But okay, let's try to think of a different route. So basically, it's just generic RPG stuff. Like, I recognize your skill. But he basically means you can't realize your ideals if you're not strong. And and you and you're not very strong by yourself. That's the ideal he's trying to say. So this duel, but what is the pure hypocrisy? So okay, so let's just say instead of that subplot I'm talking about, instead it's about the idea of strength versus ideal. Like, you can have your ideals, but you will never achieve them if you don't have the strength. And so in reference to that, at the time Altair was very weak and was very soundly beaten by Vesper, and hence he didn't really join early on. Instead, it was Magni who joined first. So basically, he was a member. He's a late game character that you could have recruited if you beated him, but he wasn't able to. Altair was not able to recruit him. But now, I'm not who I was back then. He was no longer weak. He's now fully equipped with his weird gun sword thing and his light armor, and is able to beat Vesper. And as such, he demonstrates he has the skills to join. He has the skills and determination to go through his ideals. But he joined, and so Vesper joins. But he also has to remind him, but you are nothing by yourself. Basically, I'm joining. But without me or anyone in the party, he is worthless. He is weak. But let me just see this fight here. Yeah, it seems to be just a 1-1 fight, because this is what happens when you're dealing with media that's not you writing yourself. So you can't keep themes sensical. So it's okay. So it's Altair and Vesper fighting, and yeah, Axel and Magdi just kind of get bored and watch. What happened here? I thought he was Gramsci. I certainly enjoyed it though. Yeah, he probably enjoyed watching the fight. But then why are they here? Axel, but she was here. Forget that. Let's go get some grub. Oh, okay, that's Axel doing the thing. Okay, so here's the plot. Blah, 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 blah. They're dueling here. Axel gets kind of bored here. And then he basically does a power geyser. And pretty much intimidates. Because they're like, Vesper and Altair, despite all his power-ups, they seem to be like very equally matched. And the fight goes on pretty much forever. And you can see Axel gets kind of like, oh screw, this is so lame. Cause like no one's actually winning. So he just goes in, power geysers, and then starts ranting and tells everyone to stop fighting. And goes between these two. Right? As such, because Axel's there, Vesper gets intimidated. And then, as such, he recognizes that his party is very strong and has the determination to go through with whatever they set out to do. But know that you are nothing by yourself, because the fight was won by Axel, not Altair. There we go. And as such, he joins the party. Right? Okay, I made sense of that. So I'll meet the guild. How's this gonna go? We have a full picture of the actual guild hall. I'm trying to make sense of what the hell it is, but it's difficult. So where to next? How about the four of us explore some ruins together? So this universe explores a lot of ruins. So this implies like there was a past. So there was a massive calamity, and there was a past civilization that used to exist, and then it was remade, right? So what I'm thinking here is this is a digital world, but it was based on the it became it's based on a perfect replica of the destroyed Earth, and as such, it was slowly remade into Elysium so that disaster would never befall it ever again. And then the corruption thing happened. Because they, I guess like we're talking like digital space here. Digital space might exist in digital space, but it always needs a physical medium to store all that data. And anyone who has a hard drive knows, data is very slowly corrupt with time. So maybe like Elysium was created, it was a perfect replication of the Earth. Everything developed as it is. As time went by, I don't know, maybe thousands of years or hundreds of years, maybe millions of years, however long it requires. And then the hard drive or the data capacity thing that keeps the world of Elysium as a digital world slowly gets corrupted over time, and it's pretty much the only way to really save or delay the world's complete corruption is to defragment or utterly reformat the world, because that's how you generally restore broken hard drives. As such, I think if these guys ever get to the end of their journey, if these guys ever reach the end game, they have to come with a very heavy choice. You either delay the corruption of the whole world by defragmenting it, or as such, actually, like if you're looking at the map of Elysium, it's just like four sectors and the hollow tree. I'll talk about the hollow tree at another time. But basically, I'm implying is the world is already really small, which implies to me that the world had already been defragged a bunch of times, and as such, all of the unnecessary or corrupted data was removed, but that created a smaller world in general because of the defragmentation. So they could do that again, or they could reformat the world and completely destroy the world and start the whole world again. As a result, though, all of Elysium will be deleted, and then it will start from scratch. But would they come back? That's a big question. Who knows? Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe they would all die. That's a choice they have to make. But that's how I would take it. But yeah, this is generally the story goes. This is how I would set out the plot for the establishment of Tempus HQ. Well, that's pretty much all I have for now, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me any ideas you might have gleaned. Maybe there's gaps of information I might be working with that have not been addressed. Because Tempus lore is very fragmented. I tried my best to get everything I I know about this whole thing. I'm literally looking at the official website, but there might be gaps in information I'm not privy to. But this is the best I got, and this is the if I were commissioned to create a novel about Hololive Tempus, this is how I would do it. So, tell me what you think. Give me some criticism. Give me some more lore information. Give me your theories, because I need all the information I need when I'm doing the big project I want to do. Well, hopefully until then, guys, I'll see you next time. I will do another deep lore dive as I get to the other aspects of the world. Until then, goodbye.